Hey everybody, and welcome to the video. Whether you're gonna be a first-time investor in 2022 or you're a current investor that just wants to know the best options out there in terms of platforms in Canada, today we're gonna be going over, in my opinion, the top 5 choices. They all have uniquenesses and quirks to them that may be more suitable for you. The brokerages that we're gonna be covering today are Wealthsimple Trade, we're gonna be covering Questrade, we're gonna be covering the National Bank Direct Brokerage, or NBDB. As well, we're gonna be covering Interactive Brokers, and last but not least, TD Direct Investing. We're also actually gonna be touching on a few of the other bank ones like CIBC Investors Edge, BMO, kind of towards the end of this video. And of course, as we go through, I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on the platform, who they're most suitable for, and even give you guys some screenshots so you can get familiar with which is gonna be the best platform ultimately for you. What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to another video. If you are new to the channel here, my name is Brandon. As always, we do have our Investing Academy as that first link in the description below. If you'd like to check that out, I'll tell you a little bit more about that later in the video. But this is a series that I have done for the past number of years. It's always a big hit, and with this industry evolving so fast, and it really is, when you think about the advancements in technologies and these brokers all competing to be number one and all the new features they're rolling out, even a video that I did a year ago is already so outdated. So I would just like to say that before we dive in, all of the information that I'm sharing with you guys today is as of this date. And of course, if you're watching this video at a later time in the year, just make sure that you are up to speed and you kind of do a quick refresher in case any of the information has changed. I will also note right off the bat, because I know this is a question that I'm going to get, are these brokerages safe? Each of the 5 brokerages that we cover in this video are all reputable names. They're all legitimate platforms. In fact, here in the Canadian market, the industry has these governing bodies, one being IROC, the Investment Industry Regulatory Body of Canada, something along the lines of that. As well, these are all members of the CIPF, which is the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. Just know that these 5 brokers have been vetted. They're safe. It doesn't mean that when you put money into these stocks and investments, your stocks might not go down. That's something they can't help you with. But in terms of legitimacy, in terms of safety with these brokerages, you can be rest assured that these are all got the stamp of approval. They're all legitimate. And yeah, we wouldn't be talking about them on the channel if they weren't. Let's dive on into the video, guys. If you do enjoy, I would ask, please do give a thumbs up. These are very info-packed videos to put together. I love doing them, but they are a little bit difficult. But let's get started here with Wealthsimple Trade. This is what we're going to be kicking it off with today, because I honestly do believe at this point, and if you guys know my background, this is a tipping point for me. This is a very legitimate choice, and I think for a lot of people watching this video, this may be the one that they ultimately go with. But Wealthsimple Trade, just to be clear, don't get that confused with Wealthsimple, which is a completely other portion of brokerage. Wealthsimple is actually the robo-advisor service where they will actually set a portfolio for you. They'll manage that for you. There is a slightly higher fee that they charge on a year-over-year basis. Wealthsimple Trade is their direct brokerage where you're the one in control of your account. You're the one managing your investments. It's all on you. As a background on Wealthsimple Trade, this was the first commission-free or zero commission trading platform that was here in Canada. Now, later in our list, we're actually going to be covering the second. So there's only 2 out of all of the brokerages in Canada, but this was the first, and they really paved the way in terms of how things go. Basically, what that means for any of our first-time investors or people that are very new to the stock market, typically, when you go out to buy or sell a stock, you do often pay some sort of fee to your brokerage. There's a cost incurred on the front end when you buy a stock, as well as on the back end when you sell a stock. Typically, these range anywhere between $5 and $10, 5 being on the cheaper end, 10 being more on the expensive end. But Wealthsimple Trade offers zero commission trading. You can buy and sell stocks in many cases without paying any fees. On top of that, what's great about Wealthsimple is that there are no investing minimums. Brokerages will often have a floor or a minimum that you have to get started with, either to trade or to avoid fees. Some of them will say, hey, you can start investing with $100 or $50, but if you're under this threshold, we're gonna charge you a fee. Wealthsimple Trade is known not only for their zero commissions, but also being, for the most part, a completely fee-free platform. Fee-free platform, fee-free. And where this becomes super beneficial is when you are maybe a smaller investor, or maybe you're just not ready to commit a whole bunch of money. You don't want to put $10,000 or $20,000 into account. you can literally get started with as low as 50 bucks, 25 bucks, $100, and pay no commissions when you buy and sell. As well, you're not getting hit with any of those additional fees. On top of that, another amazing feature and a very exciting one that was just rolled out here in the Canadian market as of late 2021, Wealthsimple Trade allows you to go out and buy fractional shares of stocks. What that means is that you can go out and buy portions of shares, portions of companies that you may have otherwise not been able to afford. I've done videos on fractional shares. I've done videos on a lot of these brokerages, honestly, if you just want to dig through the channel. But in particular, we've just talked about fractional shares quite recently. But take, for example, a company like Google or a company like Amazon, which do trade at a higher ticket price. Honestly, a lot of new investors would be kind of priced out of those stocks. It would just simply be out of their budget traditionally, because you had to save up enough to go out and buy one share. Well, with Wealthsimple Trade, you can essentially buy whatever dollar amount you want. You're more or less deciding how much money you want to buy, and you'll be buying a tiny piece or a bigger piece of that share itself. I'll put up on the screen some of the stocks that are eligible for fractional trading. Not every single stock is, but since they released this, they have been adding and adding and adding. And with time, we're going to expect to see this list grow deeper and deeper. I will include a link below here if you would like to look more to see what options are available with fractional trading. Another feature, which is not a big deal to me, but for a lot of people, they do offer instant deposits. What that means is that once you've linked up your bank account, typically, when you do want to essentially transfer money from your bank, from your checking savings account into your investment account, you do typically have to wait a few business days. There's a little bit of time for that to happen, especially if you're waiting over the weekend. It can kind of suck. They do allow instant deposits. It varies depending on the account, but anywhere between $1,000, I think up to about $3,500 or $5,000 that they will instantly allow you to trade. This can be beneficial in terms of some timely fashion trades that you want to make, and maybe your account's lacking a little bit in the cash section or the cash department, you can use this feature. They do also offer Wealthsimple Crypto. It is a somewhat separate division of Wealthsimple Trade, but they are tied together. And essentially you can go out and buy things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. I have never bought that on the platform, nor have I had the care to. It's just something that they do offer. And I know that's a very growing area of popularity. So they're really trying to kind of spread their branches and hit all different areas of this market. Another additional feature, which is very new, and when I say very new, I literally think this got rolled out a week or so before I actually put my notes together for this video. They are launching something what they call Wealthsimple Plus. And this is a fascinating approach to how they're going to be operating their brokerage. For $10 a month, you can actually open up a US dollar account, and that would help you avoid currency conversion fees, currency transaction fees when you're going out and buying US stocks. And for those that have followed the channel for a while, you guys know one of my biggest beefs with Wealthsimple was that previously it was only a Canadian dollar account. Now, what that means is that you can still go out and buy US stocks. If you want to go buy Walmart or Coca-Cola or Tesla for that matter, you could still buy them, but you would get hit with a currency conversion fee, essentially converting your Canadian dollars to US dollars. Then when you sell those stocks, because the account was always Canadian dollars, you would be hit with a conversion fee on the back end. Those fees typically range between 1.5 and 2% for all of the brokerages that we're talking about today. This Wealthsimple Plus feature is gonna say, hey, you pay $10 a month and you can essentially just have a US account and you can hold US dollars in that account. That would minimize a ton of transaction costs and currency conversion fees. It's too early for me to say that I've experienced that or tested it out, but it does seem like a very it's a very interesting way to do it. It kind of caught me off guard, but it definitely could work because a lot of people that are heavy into the US stocks, they pay far more than that in currency conversion fees. So $10 a month does seem very reasonable. This platform does offer use on both desktop and mobile apps, which I think is really huge. They actually recently in 2021 or late 2020 launched their desktop feature. And of course, where they really built their brand off of was when they were originally launched, they were simply a mobile app and a very intuitive app. But it is nice that users can choose whether they want to invest on their phone, and you can basically do everything you need on your phone or use the desktop feature. In terms of accounts, this is where we could say there is a slight downfall with Wealthsimple Trade. They do right now offer 3 accounts. Now, on the plus side, as a bonus, they're the 3 main accounts that investors would probably use, especially when they're just getting off the ground as investors. Right now, they offer a personal account. This would also be known as a taxable account or a non-registered account, meaning the gains that you earn in this account, you do have to pay tax on, whether that's dividends, whether that's capital gains, whether that's interest from one of your investments. They do, of course, offer the TFSA, the tax-free savings account. Very likely a lot of new investors, if they have space, if they're old enough, if they've been in Canada long enough, that's the account that they're going to want to use. They do as well offer the RRSP. The con, I would say, is let's say you're somebody that does want a corporate account. So to invest money that you have tied up in your business. If you're looking for an RESP, which is an education savings plan, kind of put some funds away for your kids' education, or a locked in retirement account, whatever the case is, as of right now, they just offer those three main accounts. Now let's take a moment and go over the layout, because I told you guys we're going to look at screenshots of most of the brokers today that I was able to get. Very, very modern, very, very easy to use. The name kind of says it itself. It's a simple app, and it's very, very good at not overcomplicating things. What you're looking at here is basically just the dashboard. This is actually my personal account. You see that I do have a personal account, meaning this is a taxable account. Don't just go out and blindly copy that if you're setting yourselves up. You probably want to use other accounts. Again, that's more or less a decision for you to make once you're ready to get going. But yeah, you can dive into the account. Nice big bold letters, or numbers, I should say. Shows you your returns, shows you the graph and the gains that you're seeing or the losses that you're seeing. You can take a look at your portfolio holdings. So these are just some of the stocks that I own with the available cash that you have to trade. You do see a watch list down here on the bottom right-hand side. And of course, placing trades is super, super easy. This is the order entry page that you're going to be looking at on the desktop. If I wanted to go out and buy shares of Canadian National Railway, pretty simple stuff. We'd go out and select the number of shares we have, we'd select the order type, and then we just click buy CNR. It gives you an estimated total cost, etc., etc. This is what the mobile app looks like, and literally as of today or yesterday, they updated the app, so I did this at a good time here. But this is the new look at their mobile app. It used to actually, I think, look a little nicer with the nice big graphs and whatnot, but nevertheless, it does show you your portfolio, shows your dollar value. It gives you basically everything you need. In summary, my overall thoughts on Wealthsimple Trade. For the past couple of years, it was actually not my first recommendation or suggestion to people that came to me and said, hey, what's the best platform here in Canada? And that's because if you followed Wealthsimple Trade for the past couple of years, when they launched, for example, they lacked a lot of features. They were a mobile-only app. You could not go on your desktop. You could not pull up a browser and do things like that. It was all on your app. Another thing was that they didn't have TFSAs at one point. They didn't have RRSPs. It was just taxable or personal accounts. They didn't have fractional shares. They didn't have instant deposits. It was a much more dumbed down version. So although the zero commissions was very appealing, and a lot of people were like, oh, that's so exciting. I want that. I want that. Yeah, that's awesome, but the negatives, the cons, for me didn't outweigh the zero commissions. That said, this platform has shown an extreme level of commitment to innovating and to adapting, and they really are paving the way here in the Canadian market. They're doing such good things in terms of bringing the zero commissions and kind of putting the pressure on other platforms to go that route. The fractional trades, the instant deposits, being able to do crypto, I do think this is a very, very legitimate option. Who I think this would be best for is in particular young investors. So people that are investing for the first time, they are essentially wanting to dip their toes, they're wanting to dabble. Even more than that, if you want to seriously build a portfolio and you want to cut down on fees, you want to be low cost, whether you're young, whether you're old, I really think this is a suitable option. In the next one coming up, the next segment, which is on Questrade, we will talk about how it is a more intricate platform. It's a little bit deeper. If you're somebody that wants to, for example, get more serious about investing and you want to do things like options, as I forgot to mention, or didn't forget, I was going to mention it right now, but options are not currently available on Wealthsimple Trade. As of filming this video, DRIPs, dividend reinvestment plans, which is a very, very popular strategy with dividend investors where they just flow their dividends back into the stock, not available on Wealthsimple Trade. Again, the lack of accounts that they have three very important ones, and for a lot of investors, that's all they'll need. But if you have more needs than that, if you're somebody who says, I know I want an RESP for my kids, I know I want such and such, or to trade options, that would be somebody that maybe this isn't suitable for. But again, as fast as they've been developing over the past couple of years, that may be changed in the coming coming months and coming years. So nevertheless, I think this is a very, very serious option. That's why I put it at number one. For those that have been following a while, you guys know that I actually am a big partner with Wealthsimple Trade here on the channel. That doesn't influence why I would say it's number one. I'm saying that because it legitimately is number one. And I was promoting Wealthsimple even before I got little commissions and referral links. But nevertheless, if you do want some sign up bonus, it's a great way of supporting me. And there's actually two options you have. If you click the links down in the description below, you can get $50 as a cash bonus when you deposit and trade $150 or more. The second option you have, which I think a lot of people find exciting, I don't know why, but you can also get 2 free stocks when you do sign up. That will be a separate link down below, but I will include those down below this video. But let's move on to our next one, which is the brokerage Questrade. Now, geez, where do we start with Questrade? And for some context, ever since I started DIY investing, over the past number of years since I started my YouTube channel, I have been a user of Questrade. It's the platform I started on. It's the platform that I preached and promoted because at the time, I felt that this was by far and wide the most well-rounded and best all-around platform for most of Canadians. Now, over the past year, they have made some changes, maybe not for the best. Now, it actually doesn't impact, how you invest. The user interface, for one, is a good example of what I believe to be was a bad change, and I find it much harder to use. But in terms of the fees, in terms of the commissions, in terms of the options that you have, that still remains the same. And that's why this is coming in at number 2 on our list. So with Questrade, they do charge a commission unlike Wealthsimple Trade. And how their commission structure works is it's 1 cent per share if you do read the fine print, with a minimum of $4.95 to a maximum of $9.95. I will note that these commissions are based in the currency that you're buying. So if you're buying a US dollar stock, it would be a $4.95 USD commission. If you're buying a Canadian stock, it'd be a $4.95 Canadian commission. Nevertheless, I'll explain why in a second, why they charge these commissions, and you do get a lot more features. One of the things that I love, and it still remains true with Questrade, is that they do offer ETF purchase for free. And ETFs are essentially these baskets of stocks. That's kind of the way that we would teach our students, is that, you always have the option of going out and picking individual stocks. You can go buy Tesla, you can go buy McDonald's, you can buy whatever you want, really, for the most part. And a lot of people don't have the confidence or the comfortability to go out and do that. So you can essentially buy these ETFs or these baskets of stocks that own a number of different assets. Well, on Questrade, these are free to do. So you can go buy 10 ETFs for all that matters, and you wouldn't pay a single commission. So in a sense, ETFs are a commission-free version of this. I will note that when you do sell your ETFs, you do pay that typical commission on the way out. So a pro tip I can give to you guys is don't go haywire buying a whole bunch of ETFs because they're free and because you can, because then you may look at your portfolio and be like, I don't want to own these ETFs. These ones suck. What am I doing? And then you do get hit on the back end. It's a mistake that a lot of people make. On top of that, as you can see on this page, they do offer options. And again, this is a deeper level platform than Wealthsimple Trade. Options commissions are a flat rate of $9.95 plus $1 per contract. That's very typical that you're going to see based on how many contracts you're buying. If I pan to another page here, you can see that you have a ton more options. So you can buy things like mutual funds. You can buy bonds. You can buy GICs. You can buy international equities. So directly on foreign exchanges. This is actually a really key one to me. If, for example, you're an investor that says, ooh, I want to go trade the foreign markets. I want to go buy Nintendo stock, which trades on the Japanese exchange. I want to go buy Nestle stock, which trades over in Europe. With Questrade, you do have that capability, whereas with Wealthsimple, again, you get what you pay for. And because there are no commissions, because they are at this point less rounded brokerages, the selection of stocks is a little bit slimmer there. Nevertheless, you do also have the option of IPOs and new issues. What I'm trying to get across with this is that depending on your needs as an investor, and I know this can be difficult as a new person who doesn't know what their needs are going to be, but if you can foresee in the future that maybe I do want to dabble here, or I do want to try these, you may want to get situated with a more well-rounded platform, and that's where I think Questrade comes in. One of the major features that I do like with Questrade is the fact that you can hold US dollars in your account. It's actually the same account, but they do allow you to essentially split up your Canadian dollars and US dollars. Again, this is a way of actually minimizing that currency conversion fee. To give you guys a little example, if you went out and bought Amazon shares, which is a US traded company, you would pay a conversion fee upfront to get your Canadian dollars into US dollars. But then once you sell that stock, it would actually hold that for you in US dollars. And if you want to go out and buy another US stock, you wouldn't be hit with these conversion fees, time after time after time. With Wealthsimple Plus, they're charging you $10 a month to kind of negate that feature. Here on Questrade, it's just built in that you do have the option to do US stocks. So if you plan to maybe do that, may lean more this way. In terms of account types, what you're gonna see is that this offers far, far more. They of course have your typical accounts, the TFSA, tax-free savings account, your RRSP, registered retirement savings plan, your margin accounts, your RESP, which is the education savings plan. You have your full suite of retirement accounts. This may be more suitable for some older investors who maybe had like a pension that they had to move over. Again, just a little more intricate. You do also have the option of corporate accounts and trusts. And I think that's really, really big. I actually have my corporate money with Questrade. So I've set up an account as an entity within my own business. So the money that I have in there, I can invest, I can grow. It doesn't have to just sit there stagnant and just get wasted for the excess money that I do have. I'm actually planning a video specifically dedicated for those that are interested in how to set up a corporate account. It's a question that I really get all the time. So if that's of interest to you, maybe you can leave a comment down below, let me know. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so when I do post that, you can be up to speed. Nevertheless, what I hope I'm displaying so far in these comparisons is that you do have a little more depth, a little more range of things you can do. And again, that's on you to decide whether that's important for you or not. One thing to note with Questrade, which is a little bit of a downfall for newer investors with smaller amounts of money, there is an investing minimum. There is that floor, and it's kind of hard to find on their website, but if you do dig deep enough, you'll note that their minimum account is $1,000, Canadian dollars. So you must hit that mark before you begin trading. You technically can open an account, and people have done it before. They will let you open the account. They just won't let you start trading. So if you want to, for example, start saving up and you're putting away $500 a month or whatever it is, get your stuff rolling, that's fine, but you're not going to be eligible to trade. One other thing too, if you do transfer your account into Questrade, so if you're an existing investor, if you have mutual funds at the bank, whatever it is, if you move your money into Questrade, they will actually reimburse that fee. There's a form you can fill out and they'll, in most cases, cover that transfer fee for you. To take a dive into the actual platform and show you guys kind of how it looks and if it's something that you feel you could resonate with, one of the things that they do offer is a research section. And this is something that, for example, Wealthsimple doesn't offer. It's actually hosted by the company TipRanks, which is its own research platform. This is all integrated into the brokerage. I don't ever use this, but it could give you some ideas maybe on stocks to look at, good buys, whatever the case is. They do have a support system, which for years had been wishy-washy and I had negative things to say. They have really stepped up their game, and their support, the live chat, you have any questions, you have any concerns, it's actually really, really good right now. In 2021, Questrade did make a couple of major changes to their UI as I was talking about. Again, on the desktop, I don't like it, but on the mobile app, it's definitely an improvement. So this is much better than the old one. For anybody that used the old one, it was super, super over complicated and it was very clunky to use. This app basically has kind of your big total right up in the front. You can actually switch between different accounts. Again, a nice graph kind of showing you the performance. As you can see, you can look at a specific company and very easily click buy or sell and go into kind of like your order entry type deal. To go over the layout on the website, it definitely is more modern. I'll give them that. I think it's more on the lines of what Wealthsimple is like, but I find it so much harder to navigate and there's far less key information on here. This is actually their more basic website. I think they're actually developing a more intricate one, but as of right now, I find it tough. For example, if you go into like your account balances, before you had a really nice breakdown of your cash and whether it was Canadian, US, you can technically toggle behind it, but I just find it harder to use. That's just a simple way of looking at it, in my opinion. Now, I will show you guys actually a really cool tip here. If you do want to go back to the old layout, it's still very possible, and it's a question I get all the time. You definitely can. At the top of your page, you're gonna click here, Accounts. You're gonna click on the thing that says All Platforms, and from this page, you'll see these three little tabs. You wanna tab over to Questrade Edge. You're gonna get like a little ad or a little confirmation thing. Click on Add, and boom. This is what the old one looked like. And again, to me, I'm so much more comfortable with this. I'm so much more familiar with this. I like it so much better. Again, now you can see what I mean when I say you have your Canadian dollar cash, you have your US dollar cash. If you're gonna go out and buy a stock, that is a obviously a key factor, especially in a margin account where you don't want to be taking on any margin. You want to be buying with what you have, unless obviously you want to leverage up. That's up to you. But yeah, to summarize Questrade, guys, it is really some mixed emotions. I'll give you that. And for somebody that, again, has preached Questrade for as long as I've been on YouTube, I think we're now at that tipping point where I actually think for a lot of beginner investors, Wealthsimple is there. Now, if you are somebody that thinks Wealthsimple is going to be too simple for you and you need more account types, you need other options, a deeper platform, the ability to go out and buy foreign stocks, which is a fun feature for a lot of investors, this is where I think Questrade still is basically your next best bet, or an equal comparison. It's not to say one is significantly better than the other. It's just maybe better for a certain type of investor. I'm still very comfortable paying a $4.95 fee or a $5 commission to get access to all of the additional features. Does that make sense? In fact, the last brokerage that we're going to talk about, I pay $10 in commissions when I buy. So I do truly believe that, you know, if you're benefiting and you're gaining from the features and all the tools that they have for you, that commission is often a fee well worth paying. But that would be Questrade, guys. Again, I am also a partner with Questrade, so sorry if that offended you, Questrade, but there is a link down below where if you do decide to go with Questrade, you can get $50 in commission-free trades. So that does help you out when you're getting off the ground. Again, you do have to have at least $1,000 minimum for any new investors. That may be a tipping point in and of itself. If you're starting with less than that, Wealthsimple Trade may be a very clear option. Moving on into brokerage number 3. And actually, before we move on into brokerage number 3, I will take a moment to remind you guys that our Investing Academy is that first link down below. If you're new to the channel here, we offer courses and training specifically for Canadians. If you're a DIY investor, if you're just getting off the ground or you haven't even started yet and you feel this is too complicated, you need help, you want to learn everything from strategy, from the terminology, from literally walking you through click by click, you can click that first link down below. We've had over 1,000 students in Canada, every single province, go through our program. You get to join our group chat, and we're having amazing discussions in there every day. We do bi-weekly webinars. It's flat out pretty darn amazing, in my opinion, but that is that first link down below. Let's now move on to National Bank Brokerage. And this is actually the first time that I'm talking about it on the channel, because this is a new advancement. This is one of the big 5 banks slashing down their commissions and essentially trying to compete and offering zero commission trading. Now, at the time of watching this video, it's very possible that some of the other big banks have followed suit. From what I hear, I haven't heard any real ramblings or rumblings about it. They're kind of sticking firm on their pricing and their commission structure, but National Bank made a big, bold move to essentially offer the zero commission trading. Here's the website that you're looking at. This is basically their homepage. As you can see, it talks about here, National Bank is the first brokerage in Canada to offer, the first brokerage of a Canadian bank to offer 100% of your Canadian and US stocks, options, and ETFs at 0%. And it says, no, you're not dreaming, no commissions on trades. And yeah, that's pretty wild to see. Given that they're the big banks, they always like charging fees. But to dive deeper into this, you'll see zero commissions on all your transactions. That includes Canadian, US stocks, as well as ETFs, plus a huge bonus here, no minimums required. So that's actually really good. You can get started. You don't have to meet that $1,000 threshold. However, we're going to talk about kind of a caveat to that in a moment. Options we see here, commissions are zero. Now you do pay $1.25 per contract. It says here there's a minimum fee of $6.25 per trade. That does apply. A maximum fee of $19.95. So the commissions in and of themselves are zero, but there is obviously that fee per contract. They do even offer debentures as well for $0 commission. Now I don't think that many people would be buying debentures anyways, but this is one of the things that I think is typical of a bank. They do have these annual fees. They have some fees in the background. So although commissions are zero, they do charge an annual fee of $100 divided by all of your accounts. This could be known as a maintenance fee, very typical to call it. This is something that we have not seen with the 2 previous platforms. There's no maintenance fee, there's no inactivity fee, but a big bonus with National Bank is that this can quite easily be waived. So if, for example, you hold $20,000 in assets as of May 31st, it would waive that $100 fee. If you make at least 5 stock or ETF or options trades between June 1st and May 31st, waived. You have an InvestCube account, waived. You are a young investor, and this would be defined as anybody under 30. So that's pretty key. If you're under 30, this would be waived, or you're enrolled in one of our one of our offers for professionals. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but nevertheless, if your age is under 30, and if you are an investor that thinks you will do more than 5 trades during that period, which is really not that much, 5 trades is, I think, very, very doable. Buy a few stocks or a few ETFs, that would waive the fee. So that's, again, it's just something to consider. Yes, there's 0 commissions, but there are fees in the background. In fact, I'll show you right here. You can pause the video if you want to look deeper into more or less the general fees, let's call it. It's pretty standard, to be honest. But for example, withdrawals from your TFSA, so actually pulling money out of your TFSA, closing out your TFSA, you can look at it, or your RESP or RDSP, which is a disability savings plan, all free. EFTs, so electronic fund transfer, which is moving money over, wiring it over, or transferring it over, that is obviously going to be free, putting money into your account. But you do have various charges regarding withdrawals from an RRSP. So if you were going to pull money out and essentially close an RSP, they have their appropriate fee. A RIF, which is essentially what your RSP will be converted to when you get a little bit older, or a LIF, for example, there are fees. As well, internal transfers between accounts. If you want to transfer money between different accounts, you are going to get hit with a fee. So just something to kind of consider. Now, with this platform, you do actually get a lot of cool tools, and these are essentially the in-platform resources that can be very valuable if you choose to. For example, they have their Decision Plus, which is basically 3 different tools. There's the Market Vision Plus search tool, Market Gurus TV, and Trader Plus. These do again come at an additional fee. So you see how these fees maybe kind of sneaking up on you in the background, but again, they can be waived based on how many trades you make. So this is like a monthly trade schedule. For example, if you make anywhere between 15 to 29 trades per month, you knock the price down of Market Guru TV to $25, but you get the other 2 research tools for free. If you do 30 to 49 trades per month, which I think is actually quite high, that's nearly a trade a day, over a trade a day, but it does waive all the fees. I haven't got the chance to use these, but they are tools nonetheless. They do even offer more advanced tools for more active or more advanced investors, or traders, I should say. These again come at an additional cost, but as you can see, things like real-time quotes, transactional market quotes, you can trade on more exchanges. So not just the big ones, but you can get on things like the TSX Venture, which is where a lot of the smaller cap companies would be listed. Again, they have this schedule where if you do enough trades, you are going to get those basically advancements waived. You can feel free to pause this if you'd like, but I will move on now to the different account types, because again, the banks do offer a ton of accounts. And again, it puts them a step up on Wealthsimple if you have the needs for it. They basically have everything. Their TFSAs, their RSPs, RIFs, spousal RSPs, RESPs, cash, margin, short selling account, you name it. On top of that, not included on this table, if you do dig a bit deeper, they do have corporate accounts and trusts. So very similar to what I have set up with Questrade. It does, however, say, it states here at the bottom, in trust for accounts, for example, you do have to actually call an agent to set it up or set it up at your branch. Typically, getting those accounts set up are a little more in depth than just getting your TFSA set up. There's a lot more back and forth, and it's just, if you are planning on setting it up, know that you may have to go a step deeper. One thing that I think is a negative at this point regarding NDBD, or the National Bank Direct Brokerage in Canada, no mobile app at this given point. You can, however, use your mobile app and go to the browser and actually log in to access the web platform, but there is no specific app at this point. Actually, to share with you guys, pretty cool, one of our students actually did make the switch, and they did want to test out the 0 commissions. They actually sent us a bunch of screenshots so that you guys, for this specific video, can check it out. Give this video a thumbs up for that guy. Big shout out to Desiralt. His real name is Maxime, one of our students, but he goes by Desiralt. Basically, he shared with us some of his brokerage photos, and this is basically the dashboard. Much more typical of what you find of a bank, a little more clunky, but still actually very, very modern. I'm actually very, very impressed with this. I'm obviously blurring out a ton of information for his sake, but when you do go ahead and click into one of the accounts, for example, you can see the quotes and the charts. This is an order entry page on the right. So if you wanted to, for example, buy a stock in his US dollar TFSA, you punch in the number of shares. Here he has Apple inputted, but a lot of nice details here for you. This next slide that we're looking at here is the ETF Research Center. So I guess a bunch of tools and publications regarding maybe some good ETF ideas. They do as well have the overall Morningstar ranking, which is something that I really like to look at. Basically, their ranking in terms of the funds and where they're valued at. Moving on to the next slide, you have more or less just some general information on the market. So some trends that we're seeing in the major indexes, the TSX, the Dow Jones, the S&P, crude oil, gold, etc. You also have top gainers. A lot of people will have their own sites and apps that they use to track this, but to have it all in one place, I think is a major benefit. And here, for example, just to finish things off, you do have a quote of the company Microsoft, and you're clearly displayed with a ton of key information. I actually do like towards the bottom here, you have their earnings estimates, you have their analyst recommendations, all things that may help you make ultimately a better decision with your investments. So from the feedback that I've gathered, a lot of investors are now making the shift to at least try out the NDBD, or the National Bank Direct Brokerage here in Canada. I think what a lot of people like, outside of the fact there's zero commissions, is the fact that it's just one of the big 5 banks. People tend to feel certainty. They tend to feel a little bit of security and comfort by using products that are delivered by the banks. Again, as I mentioned, all of the ones that we talk about today are going to be governed by the same bodies, and they're all equal on that stance. But just from like a mindset thing, people do like investing with one of the big banks, and especially the fact that you can get zero commissions. I think a more equal comparison would be comparing this up to, for example, a Questrade rather than a Wealthsimple, because again, you have all these in-depth options. You may get hit with more fees in the background, and that's the one thing that I would say is be careful with these other fees that the banks do charge, or the bank brokerage charges. And again, you can feel free to dig deeper on their website just to make sure what you're looking for may not be subject to a bunch of fees. But without a doubt, this I think is a comparable. It's very fair with Questrade, especially if you are an investor with more amounts of money. If you have, let's say, a bigger dollar figure, a bigger portfolio size, and you can exceed, let's say, the $20,000, you like the idea of commission-free trading, you like some of the visuals that this bank has provided. One thing again to note is that there is no mobile app. So if you're somebody that plans to invest strictly on your phone, again, it's still doable, but from what I hear, very clunky, very not efficient. If that's the case, you probably want to go for Questrade or Wealthsimple. But if you plan to just do all your investing on your computer, if you're like the idea of being a big 5 bank, National Bank Brokerage, I think, is a very legitimate consideration. And again, it is quite new in the Canadian space. Only about a few months back did they actually announce the zero commissions. But again, a bold move, and I think so far it's paying off because a lot of investors are now happy making the switch. Let's move on into brokerage number 4 here, which is going to be the most complex of the bunch today. It is Interactive Brokers, known as IB. This is definitely a brokerage that is more suited for more active investors, more sophisticated investors, and flat out more advanced investors. So I assume that 90 to 95% of you guys watching this video are maybe beginners, maybe just getting off the ground. For those types of people, this is actually not the brokerage that I would recommend, but I do get questions for it pretty much every time I do these videos, so I am going to include it in here. Now, this brokerage is great for somebody that especially may find themselves outside of the country. Maybe you do time here, time somewhere else. This platform is available in so many countries, and actually Canada is not like the main hub for them. They're more an international broker. And for example, one of the features that they offer, which is Interactive Brokers Lite, or IBKR Lite, this is not available to Canadians. This is the platform that does offer commission-free trading. And if you were in the US or you were based somewhere else, you could get commission-free trading, and that's actually much more of a standard practice over there. But for Canadians right now, no commission-free tradings. They do still have a cost. Now, this platform, however, does offer pretty much everything you need in terms of investment products. You got your stocks, you got your ETFs, you got your options. So if you plan to be an options trader or trade futures or the Forex market, this may be a very key option for you. They're without a doubt the most intricate one that we are covering today. In terms of pricing models, it is a little bit confusing with how it works, but they do have 2 main pricing models. One being tiered, basically meaning that the price you pay is determined on how much quantity you're buying. And the more shares that you buy, you actually get better and better pricing. Here, for example, if you're buying, let's say, penny stocks, which again is something that I don't often promote, and I don't promote, and something that I think for a lot of new investors you may want to stay away from. But if you're buying, large sums of shares, as you go further and further down this list, you do see that the actual commission, it's only a matter of cents or half a cent per share, but that does add up when you're buying tons and tons of shares. What you will notice on the right side is basically the maximum per order that you will pay is 0.5% of the trade value. If you're looking at United States traded stocks or ETFs, It even says warrants here, but most people wouldn't be buying those. You do have a slightly different pricing model. These go up to 1% at a maximum of the trade order. Now, fixed is the other option that you have. And essentially this is more simple. It charges a fixed amount and a set percentage based on the trade value. Fixed prices include things like exchange fees and most regulatory fees, which I didn't mention on the other one. They actually are subject to like clearing fees, and there are sometimes exchange fees that would be tacked on top. However, you can get a rebate. Nevertheless, the fixed one, looking at the US stocks, what I can do is just hover down to this example page. Basically what this tells you is if you bought 100 shares of a stock trading for $25 USD, you would pay $1 in commission. If you were buying 1,000 shares at $25 per share USD, that would be a $5 commission. If you're buying 1,000 shares of a stock worth 25 cents, that would be $2.50 in commissions. To switch over to the Canadian one, it gives you the example of 100 shares at $25 share price. The commission you'd be paying is $1. So quite a complex and confusing method that they have here. Nevertheless, where I think it is key is that if you are an investor that does plan to play the options game, if you do plan to play the futures game, this is without a doubt going to be your best option. This would be a very suitable platform for, again, active traders, people that want to trade on a day-to-day basis. They really want to get involved with the active side of investing. One of the other key things that this platform offers, which is enticing to a lot of people, they do have very, very low margin rates when compared up against the competitors. You will see that here at the bottom, it does state margin borrowing is only for experienced investors with high risk tolerance. You may lose more than your initial investment. So again, for beginner investors, this is just something we probably don't even want to think about at this point. There are a ton of trading platforms within this app, and we're not going to get into every single one of those today, but you have, for example, the client portal, which is like the web-based platform. You have the trader workstation. You have the Interactive Brokers mobile platform, a number of others. But where I think for us, if you are someone that is considering using this, here in the Canadian market, they do actually offer fractional trading. So a lot of people think that Wealthsimple Trade is the only one that allows you to buy fractional shares. Interactive Broker actually does allow Canadians to buy fractional shares, but only in a non-registered account or only in a taxable account. As of right now, you cannot buy fractional shares in a TFSA or an RRSP, which is again where a lot of beginners may find themselves. But if you have a lot of money and you are using a non-registered account, a taxable account, they do have the ability for fractional shares. Actually, in terms of account types, they only really offer 3 registered accounts, which are basically our tax sheltered accounts registered with the CRA. That's the RRSP, that's the spousal RSP, and that is the TFSA. You can, again, obviously open up a taxable account if you've exceeded those or if you, for some reason, don't want to invest in those. But to put it very simply, this account, I think, should be considered for maybe 5% of the people watching this video. Ones that do want to get into options, ones that do want to be more active and flat out, I'll be more blunt with it. This is an option in brokerage for more sophisticated investors. If you are just starting out, I would say put this one on the side for now. Maybe sometime down the road you revisit it. But if you're in the market for options, if you're in the market for trading futures or Forex, this would be your best bet. Moving on into broker number 5. To finish off this video, if you guys have been sticking around this long, I'm proud of you guys, good job. But number 5 is TD Direct Investing. This is, of course, the direct investing branch of TD, Toronto Dominion Bank. I actually personally opened up an account with TD Direct Investing in 2021, and I've been very, very, very pleased with the platform so far. Let me first off start by saying this is going to be the most expensive brokerage that we cover in this video of the 5 that we covered today. In fact, when you look at the banks, National Bank aside, because that's kind of an outlier at this point, but if you look at TD, RBC obviously has their direct investing thing. BMO, CIBC, Investors Edge, they're all going to have their own. Typically, you start seeing the commissions creep up. And to give you guys an example of this, TD charges a flat rate commission of $9.99 per trade. That goes for both Canadian and US stocks, again, based on the actual stock that you're buying, what currency they trade in. They charge a flat commission of $9.99 per trade, plus the $1.25 per contract. If you are someone that's looking for options in both the Canadian and US options, they do have a better price or a more attractive price for more active traders. These are for people that are making over 150 trades per quarter, so quite a bit, but we do see that fee drop down to 7%. To me, I think that's actually a lot of trading for most. They do as well charge a maintenance fee. So very similar to that of National Bank. This one, they break up it by quarter. So $25 per quarter, which is essentially the exact same as $100 per year. This would be applied if your account is below $15,000. But very much like National Bank, this can be waived relatively easy. You need to have either over $15,000 in assets, set up a systematic investment plan or an SIP or a pre-authorized deposit, which is essentially automating your deposits into that account, your contributions. That needs to be of at least $100 per month, which I think is actually a great thing to do. Nonetheless, complete 3 or more trades during the quarter. That's very easy to do, guys. 3 or more trades. That's easy. You make 3 trades and you waive this fee. Or if you have an RDSP, so a disability savings plan, or within your first 6 months of opening an account, you're not going to be charged this fee. Actually, I'll give you guys a pro tip that one of my students shared with me. If you are currently on one of these platforms, you're on TD, you're with CIBC, you're with BMO, take a moment and tell them that you want to switch to National Bank. Tell them that you're going to move your account out. Hey, I saw that you're doing 0 commissions. I'm going to leave you guys. I think in a lot of cases, they will kind of give you some incentive to stay. A number of our students actually did this, and they get, 50 commission-free trades or 100 commission-free trades just as a little bonus to stay. Just a little thing to throw in there. These I talked about are the most high fees that you're going to come across when it comes to investing in terms of commissions. And the reason being is because I just think they do flat out offer the best all-around experience. If you are somebody with a bunch of money and you don't mind paying the fees, like if you're starting with, let's say, 50,000, 100,000, $1 million plus portfolio, and these little commissions don't bother you, paying $10 to buy, paying $10 to sell, without a doubt, you're getting, I think, the best overall experience and the best features. If you want to do drips, you do drips. If you want to do options, you do options. If you want a US dollar account, a Canadian dollar account, the bank's going to offer all of that. They offer all of the account types that you need. But what I've found to be the most valuable, in my personal opinion, and why I actually like this brokerage option so much, and why it may be what I actually, kind of point you guys in the direction, is that I personally do bank with TD. So that's, one of the banks that I use, but my checking account, savings account, I'm a TD user. The brokerage within TD Direct integrates so seamlessly with my actual bank accounts. So within my app, you can, sometimes you transfer money between accounts, from checkings to savings, from this to that. You can easily send money over into your investment account. It's just seamless. And for example, if I was gonna go send money to Questrade or send money to, National Bank, whatever it is, I would have to basically put like a bill payment in, or I'd have to basically send a wire over. Again, it would take a couple business days for that money to flow out of my bank account, go over there. Because I use TD, seamless, fast, like so easy. I can see all of my account dollar values. I got all of the different assets that I have. It's just from a peace of mind standpoint of just having everything in one place. It's hard to put a dollar value on that. But for me personally, I really like it. Now, if you're somebody that's obviously not with TD, well, then this wouldn't apply. But the same would go, at least I believe, whether you're using RBC, whether you're using CIBC Investor's Edge or BMO, there's a benefit to having everything under one hood. If we want to get technical about it, CIBC does actually have the best rates in terms of commissions of the banks. Aside from National Bank, they charge $6.95 per trade. But then for me, that would defeat the purpose of having everything under one hood. To go over briefly the layout, it is, again, more bank-like and a little more statistical, but still very straightforward. And I think actually very, very easy to understand. You basically got your total balances, shows you your rate of return. This is over the last month or so. I'm going to be blocking out a bunch of information, but mine is split up between my Canadian dollar account and my US dollar account. If I were to toggle into one of my accounts, just for example, you're going to see basically some of the holdings. These would all be my US ones. For some reason, Apple is in my Canadian dollar account. I don't know why. I could easily talk to them and fix that, but I just haven't. Placing a trade is very straightforward. This is the order entry. Again, maybe not as beginner friendly as a Wealthsimple trade, but still basically everything you need. You got your quote details. You got the type of order, the duration of this order, or good till period. You can punch in the quantity. This is a brokerage that I would absolutely not recommend if you are starting out with a smaller amount of money. I actually have a friend of mine, my barber, was just starting with $100, and he did open up a TD Direct investing account just because he thought it was the right thing to do. And he just went, the bank told him open your account. for someone with $100 to be paying $10 in fees and maybe, not even waiving those, maintenance fees, that makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. If you're going out and trying to buy stocks with $100 value, if, for example, you came to me and you said, I'm not so comfortable with technology. I'm 55 years old and I don't like the whole mobile phone game. I have all this money. I have an inheritance or a big portfolio, and I trust the big 5 banks. There's something about that sits well with me. Then absolutely, I think that you're getting all the features that you need. Again, especially if you are a TD user or, apply it to whatever your bank is, very, very seamless to keep things under the hood. And that's why for me personally, guys, I actually have a TD Direct Investing account. I have a Questrade account and I have a Wealthsimple account. Those are 3 of my favorite accounts, each kind of doing their own thing, right? They all have their unique quirks. They all have their unique traits, and some may be better for others. To wrap up and conclude this video today, guys, let me just give you my overall thoughts and just piece everything together. If you are a completely new investor and you are just like, I don't know about the stock market thing, I just want to try, I just want to get started. What's the most low barrier to entry, easiest way to get started? No questions asked. You want to be leaning towards Wealthsimple Trade. This platform has been adapting, evolving, and innovating so much that it now, to me, is not only great for new investors, but pretty much a lot of people out there. If they said, hey, I like the idea of cutting down costs, I like the idea of the modern, easy to use feel, this is just such a thing that resonates with me, is just keeping things simple, like the name implies, Wealthsimple Trade. Wealthsimple Trade is the way to go. If you're an investor that says, that sounds a little too simple for me, I want to do options, I want to go out to the foreign markets, I want more account types, then you may want to bypass Wealthsimple Trade and then look either to a Questrade, a national bank, if you really want to try the zero commissions, or something like a TD Direct Investing or BMO, whatever it is, just understanding that the price is going to be a little bit higher. Again, you can make that decision for yourself. Last but not least, as we talked about interactive brokers, a very small percentage of people, I think, especially if you're taking the long-term investing approach, would need to consider a platform like this. That's kind of just the outlier amongst the group. But to finish off this video, there is no one best broker. I wish I could say that for you guys. Best broker number 1, best broker number 2, best broker number 3, number 4, number 5, and rank it down. I could do that based on my likes and my needs as an investor, but there's probably a bunch of people watching this video. There's going to be, typically these videos do very, very well. Each and every one of you guys has your own unique needs. You all have your own unique circumstance, your own goals that you're aiming for. So don't ever listen to somebody that says this is the best broker for you or this is the best broker for you. Hopefully what I've displayed is that each broker has their own traits, right? They all have uniquenesses to them. And all of the brokers that I listed today, I think are phenomenal options. It's just what is more or less the best option for you. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed the information, again, a great way to support me is to actually use the links down below. And that lets them know basically that I referred you. You do also get some sign-up bonuses as well. I'd love to know from you guys what brokerages from this list sound the best. I think a lot of people are going to say Wealthsimple, and I think so too. I think it's like legitimately, it's past the tipping point of being for me that second, close to the top, but not, it's up there. It's literally up there along with the others. If you're not subscribed to the channel already and this is your first time here, we post videos like this every single week. Myself, my dad, we post all sorts of videos on investing for Canadians. You can check up a huge library of stuff that we do. As I mentioned as well, we do have our investing academy. So if you're in 2022 and you're like, this is the year I gotta get things going and I gotta do it right, because a lot of people do, they try to do it themselves and they may not be comfortable. They may not be ready for that. That's exactly who we work with. We work with people, like I said, all across Canada who have those hesitations, who just want to learn more. They want to increase their financial literacy and basically go from everything, from the terminology to the psychology to the different options that they have in terms of stocks, ETFs, index fund investing, how to properly construct a portfolio, because each and every investor is very, very different. Our 16-year-old investors, which we have, that's crazy young, they invest very differently than our oldest investor in our program, who's 87 years old. He's actually 88 by now. But there's a huge range of investors, and each person has to come up with their own strategy, their own plan, and build their portfolio accordingly. Because on all of these platforms, all 5 that we cover today, the onus is on you. These are DIY brokerages. You don't have any professionals, telling you what to do or kind of looking over your shoulder to make sure you're doing it right. The onus is on you to make sure you're doing it right. So if you feel that you do need any additional training, you want to check out what we have to offer, that's that first link down in the description below. But as always, guys, I thank you guys for watching. Long video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hello, my name is Daniel.
Hey Brianna, my name is Robin Dulkovic. By the Discord I go by Robin BIH.
Hey guys, my name is Noah. I'm from the South Shore of Nova Scotia and I'm 23 years old.
Hello Brandon and the team. Today I'm making this video to share with you some of my experience with you guys.
One day I stumbled on Brandon's YouTube channel. I decided that I wanted to give his Investment Academy a try.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris. I've been with the Brandon Beavis Investing Academy for over a year now. I started off as a complete beginner. I had no idea what I was doing.
I had started investing in my early 30s, not really knowing what was going on.
But this course was fantastic. Brandon broke everything down in a way that was very easy to understand. And I learned everything I need to know and more.
And now I'm able to design a portfolio for my child's registered education savings plan and my RRSP. And the best thing about the course is that Brandon will guide you 100% all the way from choosing the right platform for you, into how to deposit money into your investing account, taxation rules, and everything else.
Hello Brandon and team, this is Kuldeep. Just wanted to say thank you for creating Investing Academy.
The confidence I got now, the confidence that I got when talking about investment in stocks, a company, and doing my research.
I enrolled in Brandon's Academy last summer, and so far I think it is one of the best decisions I've ever made.
My money in my investing account has grown tremendously.
The team at Brandon Beavis Investing Academy is incredible to say the least, and I'm honored to be a part of the growing community.
Hi, my name is Michelle.
Hi guys, my name is Harpreet Kunal.
Morning Brandon, my name is Colin McDonald. I'm reaching out to you from Wasaga Beach, Ontario.
The Discord server itself is such a great idea. Like, you have this group of people that just answer your investing questions like automatically. It's just, thank you guys.
You really know how to explain well, Brandon. I admire you after taking your course. I mean, like, wow.
Brandon, you're probably the most sincere teacher I've ever seen on the internet who teaches stock market and who's genuinely wanting to help people improve their financial situation. So I hope I get to meet you one day. If you're thinking of joining, don't even think about it. Just grab that phone, make a phone call to one of the team members and see if it's the right fit for you. I'll guarantee that you're not going to regret it.